Good morning, friends. Today we are going to study a maxim, reddendo singula singulus. This maxim, reddendo singula singulus, is very important in the paper Interpretation of Statutes. Now let's see what the maxim is. According to Oxford Law Dictionary, the maxim reddendo singula singulus means giving each to each. Giving each to each. ഒന്ന് ഒന്നിനോട് എന്നാണ് ഈ മാക്സിമിന്റെ അർത്ഥം. Now what does it mean? See, in a statute or a legislation, as the words of the statutes are important, so also the arrangement and order of the words are also important. Especially when terms like respectively, each to each, etc. are used, then the placing of the words or order of the words are very important, and that also have to be considered when a statute is interpreted. ഒരു നിയമത്തില് റെസ്പെക്റ്റീവ്ലി ഈച്ച് ടു ഈച്ച് എന്നൊക്കെ പ്രയോഗങ്ങൾ വരികയാണെങ്കിൽ ആ നിയമത്തിലെ വാക്കുകൾക്ക് എത്ര പ്രാധാന്യമുണ്ടോ അത്ര കണ്ട് പ്രാധാന്യം അതിൻ്റെ ഓർഡറിനും ഉണ്ട്. So I will illustrate it with an example. Suppose in a statute, law states that apple, oranges and mangoes, apple, oranges and mangoes are to be taxed 5%, 10% and 15% respectively. Then we have to interpret it as apple 5%, oranges 10% and mangoes are to be taxed at 15%. So simply the maxim reddendo singula singulus means each to each, or the interpretation which will give importance to the placement or the order has to be adopted. Wharton, W-H-A-R-T-O-N, a great jurist, have tried to illustrate this by an example. The example is, in a law, if it is stated, if a person draws or loads, a person draws, D-R-A-W-S, draws or loads, L-O-A-D-S, a sword or gun. A person draws or loads a sword or a gun should be read as drawing a sword and loading a gun. If you go for the different interpretation like drawing a gun and loading a sword, it will become absurd. So this is the maxim, that is, in a law, when terms respectively, etc. are used, the order of the words are also to be considered while interpreting the law. Let's go for a case. There are so many cases, but I'll illustrate it one case. That is R.V. Kamath versus Baliga. There is one case. This was with regard to Article 304 of the Indian Constitution. The provision was, if provided that a bill or amendment, in the law it is stated that a bill or amendment which is introduced or moved a bill or amendment, introduced or moved. Now, this law was interpreted by the Indian Supreme Court as introducing a bill and moving an amendment. Introducing a bill and moving an amendment. So this is what is embodied in the maxim, that when there is some order given and terms like each to each and used respectively are used, then the order of the words should also be considered. അതായത് ഒരു നിയമത്തില് റെസ്പെക്റ്റീവ്ലി ഈച്ച് ടു ഈച്ച് എന്നൊക്കെയുള്ള പ്രയോഗം വന്നാൽ ആ നിയമം ആ ഓർഡർ നോക്കി തന്നെ ഇന്റർപ്രറ്റ് ചെയ്യും. അത് തോന്നിയതുപോലെ ഇന്റർപ്രറ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ പാടില്ല. So this is the maxim, reddendo singula. Second maxim which we are going to study today is in bonam partem. In bonam, B-O-N-A-M, partem. It means that bonam means rightful, honest. So in bonam partem maxim means that in a law, words which are used in a law are believed to be used only in the lawful and rightful sense. So when a judge interprets a law, the words used in the statute should only be interpreted in the lawful and rightful sense. It should not be used in a way that will provide for an unlawful interpretation of a word. For example, if a law states that a person with a valid license can drive a car, means that the person driving a car with a license is a person who had obtained the license in a lawful manner, not a fabricated license. So if a person with a license can drive a car, means only a person having a valid driving license and not an unlawful one. Similarly, if there is a law which states that there should be 5 years of continuous lawful practice as an advocate. A law states that there should be 5 continuous years of practice as an advocate. It means that a person is practicing with a lawful, valid advocate certificate, or he should have he should not be practicing with a false certificate or false enrollment or anything like that. It means that he is a normal lawyer who is having a valid LLB degree and he is practicing after enrollment. If anybody gets a false degree and practice for 5 years, that will not be a continuous practice of 5 years. So continuous practice of 5 years as a lawyer means lawful practice. ഇപ്പോൾ നിയമത്തിൽ വാക്കുകൾ എപ്പോഴും നിയമപരവും സത്യവുമായിട്ടുള്ള അർത്ഥത്തിൽ ഉപയോഗിക്കാൻ പറ്റും. ഒരാൾക്ക് കാർ ഓടിക്കാൻ ലൈസൻസ് വേണം എന്ന് പറയുകയാണെങ്കിൽ എവിടെയെങ്കിലും ഫാബ്രിക്കേറ്റ് ചെയ്ത ഒരു ലൈസൻസ് വെച്ചിട്ട് ഓടിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ അത് ലൈസൻസ് ആവില്ല. Every word in a law that should be used only in the truthful and rightful sense, that is embodied in the maxim in bonam partem. There is a very important case with regard to this. The name of the case is R versus Humes. Hulmes, R versus Humes. In this case, there was a law which provided that a witness shall answer every question in the court. കോടതിയിലെ ഒരു സാക്ഷി എല്ലാ ചോദ്യങ്ങൾക്കും ഉത്തരം പറയാം. A witness shall answer every question in the court. In this case, a witness who was produced in the court was giving all false answers, absurd answers. For the sake of understanding, I'll give an example. He was answering like, what is your name? Abraham Lincoln. What is your age? 520. He was giving absurd answers, which was apparently untrue. Now the question is, a witness shall answer questions. So here, is it enough that he give any false answers or absurd answers or nonsense answers? The court held no. Using maxim in bonum partem, the court held that when the law says that you shall answer questions in court, it doesn't mean that give any answer. It means that give truthful answers which the witness believes to be true. കോടതിയിൽ സാക്ഷി ഉത്തരം പറയണമെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു. ചോദ്യങ്ങൾക്ക് ഇയാള് നോൺസെൻസ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഉത്തരങ്ങൾ പറയാണ്. വയസ്സ് ചിലപ്പോൾ 300 അങ്ങനെയൊക്കെ പറയാം. അപ്പൊ അവിടെ കോടതി പറഞ്ഞു, വിറ്റ്നസ് ഉത്തരം പറയണമെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ തോന്നിയ ഉത്തരം പറയാനല്ല, അയാൾക്ക് സത്യമാണ് എന്ന് തോന്നുന്ന ഉത്തരം പറയും. So this is embodied in the maxim in bonum partem. It means that words in a statute should be interpreted only in a legal and rightful manner. Thank you.